Hello everybody, welcome to another family craft. I came up with something really fun today because we have balloons and glue and all kinds of fun stuff. So what we're going to be doing today is making a bowl, or basically whatever you want, out of paper mache or glue, just by using a collage technique. So this bowl was made out of the comic books that you all got for summer reading program, and I just took a few. We cut them up into different shapes. There's Mickey there, there's Mickey again, but look, this is a pretty strong little bowl. The bottom of it is 3 toilet paper rolls cut to this length and then just kind of all glued together. So here's a little bowl that you could put stuff in. You could put your masks in it, some candy, you know, whatever. And then this bowl here was made with layers of tissue paper, which is what I'm going to be doing, finishing up this one, and I'll start one just to show you how it all goes together. So there's a couple of different types of things that you can put this together with. One is Mod Podge. Mod Podge is one of my favorites. The director of the library, Ray Bigelow, got me some of this. I love Mod Podge. You can also use paper mache. Now paper mache is made out of 1 part of flour, white flour. Don't use whole wheat flour because it doesn't have to be nutritional. And 2 parts water. Now what does that mean? 1 part flour, 2 parts water. It means if you had 1 cup of water, you would have a 1/2 cup of flour. If you had 1 cup of flour, you would use 2 cups of water. You would mix it up in a bowl really, really, really good. It's going to look like pancake mix. And you use that to layer your newspaper, your comic strips, your tissue paper, and you can do it by painting it on. A lot of times when you do paper mache, you dip your pieces into the bowl where the paper mache is. It's really, really gooey. You kind of slide the extra paper mache off, and then you just keep adding and adding. It's a collage technique. You're layering, okay? So you can also use paper mache. You can use Elmer's glue, tacky glue, just about any kind of like school glue or something like that. I like Mod Podge because if you look at this feels like plastic. This wasn't a very thick layers of tissue paper, so it doesn't hold up real well, but we popped the balloon and then it came back out with its shape, and it's really pretty, especially if you put it up to the light. It kind of glows through the layers of the tissue paper. So the way you do this is, here's the first fun part. You get to blow up a balloon. I would suggest one of the larger, thicker balloons to kind of hold its shape and the layers that you're going to be putting on it. Here we go. Okay, I'm just going to make that one about that big. If you don't know how to tie a balloon, you may have to have somebody help you. There we go. Okay, so that's what I did with this one here. It's kind of sticking. Now I use a can to hold my balloon so that I can start layering the tissue paper or the comic strips or the newspaper or whatever we're going to use. This one I'm just about done with. I'm probably going to pop the balloon at the end of this family craft so that you can see what it looks like to finish one up. I'm going to put it off to the side and hope that it dries a little bit more, and then we're going to start on this one so that I can show you the technique I use to do this collage layering. This is a brand new bottle of Mod Podge, so I'm going to open it up here. I may have to stick a little hole there. This is kind of a sticky one. I think it,
Ooh.
it kind of got dried at the part where, look at this stuff. Isn't it fun? Yee. Okay, so I do it just right out of the Mod Podge container, but I'm gonna just start painting the glue onto the balloon, and I'm just gonna put a nice layer in as many areas as I can. And then a simple thing with tissue paper is you can actually pick up your tissue paper. Like my fingers are kind of sticky right now from opening up that bottle of Mod Podge. So if I go like that, I can grab tissue paper, or I can use my brush to grab tissue paper. And you're just going to keep adding and adding tissue paper. You're going to spread the Mod Podge over the tissue paper, and once you get most of the balloons started to be filled up with tissue paper, then you can start adding more and more layers. You definitely want to have 3 or 4 layers, even more, of tissue paper. I think I maybe have 5 layers on that one over there. Tissue paper is a lot thinner than the comic strip one that I did here. I probably have 3 or 4 layers on that one, so it's a little bit thicker. But you just keep adding more and more glue and more tissue paper. Now, a secret is one side of the tissue paper is pretty bright with whatever design it is, and the other side's not so much, because it's more, this is where it was printed on, and this is the side where it's just kind of showing through. If you put this printed side face down on your balloon, that's going to show up on the inside of your bowl when you pop the balloon. So think about design when you're doing this. If you want the inside of your bowl to look really nice too, you're going to want to get some of the design on the inside. So I'm going to hold this up a little bit while I work so that you can see what I'm doing, and the balloon kind of bounces a little bit more, but I just pick it up with the paintbrush and just layer and layer and layer. One thing to remember on your paintbrush, you want one that's kind of thick, but still soft, because working with tissue paper, it tears easily. So you don't want one that's too rough and then just tears everything up. The comic strip one, it's more like newspaper, so it's a little easier to work with it if you've got a brush that's a little bit harder kind of brush, more like a paintbrush or something like that. So the one thing that you want to think about is how big is your bowl going to be. You can make it almost a full all the way up to the end of the balloon, or you can make it halfway around. You can see that this one here went up a little bit more than halfway. This one here that I'm doing, a little bit more than halfway. When you get done, you're probably going to cut the edge of the bowl so that you have a nice even edge, because where I'm gluing and layering, it's not going to be real even to start out. So I'm just going to keep adding and adding. I will put this back on here. You just keep painting glue over the tissue paper pieces that you already have on here so that it keeps sticking and smoothing out. There's 2 that kind of stuck together when I cut them, and I just put them on at the same time. And there's all kinds of things that you can make out of paper mache. You look around for some books that we might have in the library for paper mache, because you can do sculptures of animals. You can make all kinds of things like decorations for the garden. You do want to, with paper mache, you do want to seal them after you're done. That's what I like about the Mod Podge, is this is pretty sealed. It's kind of shiny if you look at it. And that's because Mod Podge is plastic, and when it dries it's going to be shiny, and it's pretty thick and sturdy. Paper mache a little less so, but you can actually cover paper mache design with Mod Podge to kind of seal it and make it a little bit more weatherproof. And you want to make sure that you get everything covered on your balloon, because otherwise, if you have some open spots and you go to pop your balloon, you'll actually have holes in your bowl. So you want nice thick layers on here. So the other thing you can do as you're working along is, you know, this is a little bit tedious, putting all these little, I cut out circles on my tissue paper. They can be squares that you cut out. You can actually tear pieces. On this bowl here, I actually tore some of the comic book pieces, and then some of them I cut out. So you can let this sit for a while and then come back to it later. You don't have to do it all in one shot. You can let it dry for a bit and then just start adding more things when you want to come back to it. So it's not something that you have to do all in at one time. So there's a couple of pieces that I had cut out earlier. Some of them are getting glue on them and they're sticking. Okay, I think I'm going to stop here because I think you have the idea about how to put this together and collage everything. This is something I can finish later. And then if you guys want to come in sometime and see the bowls that we made, you know, and see what they feel like and stuff. This one's still a little bit wet, but I think I can still pop the balloon and it should still kind of hold together. If not, that's okay. It will eventually dry. Here's the other fun part. Remember blowing up the balloon? Ooh. And look at this. The balloon just kind of collapsed inside. Came right out because it's still kind of wet in there, and here's my bowl. Now all I have to do is take my scissors and just try to evenly cut around. It's still a little bit damp, so it's kind of floppy, but that's okay. It's eventually going to dry and it'll be as strong and hard as that bowl there. Okay, but there's my bowl.
That looks wonderful.
Now, if I put this on the table, you'll notice that it's going to kind of rock or whatever, so I might want to get some kind of base for it. I could use a lid of a container, just put some glue on there and put a lid on there, or I could do what I did with this one. I could get some of those little toilet paper rolls and cut them up and then make a little base at the bottom. But this is really pretty when you look at it through the light and stuff. It's kind of cool. So that is family craft today. This is from the Rainy Day book. This book actually is not in the collection. It probably should be. I need to maybe get one by Jane Bull. And she's got all kinds of fun crafts that you can do. This was something that someone donated, but it was kind of written in. So a lot of these crafts that are in here, we've done here in the library before. And there's our paper mache bowls that we just did today. They showed all kinds of paper pots that people have made. And here's one of the ones with the comic strips. Okay. So anyway, lots of things you can do with recycled material, boxes, buttons, string, balloons. This is salt dough, which is another recipe that's kind of fun. Mixing up flour and salt with water and using it like a clay. I did salt dough ornaments several years ago for Christmas, and we had lots of fun with that here in Family Craft. And look at this. We also made cookies. That's a craft. So.
Oh.
Anyway, hope everybody's doing well. Thanks for joining Family Craft. And we still have a few people that haven't picked up their summer reading program prizes. So if you haven't done that, come on into the library. We have a special a surprise for you in the next couple of weeks. We're going to be cataloging some STEAM kits that people can check out, and we'll have samples of them in the case where the summer reading program prizes were. So people will be able to check out STEAM kits. And I think some of you remember the STEAM kit corner that we had here at the library. We haven't been able to use that, but you can take a STEAM kit home and play with it, check it out for 3 weeks, bring it back and get another one. So be looking on Facebook for any new things that happen here in the library, including the STEAM kits, and come into the library and say hi. Thanks everybody. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.